Good evening, and once again, welcome to Highlander Stadium. Today's second matchup is between the 8th grade visiting McKinney Dowell Lions A team and your Highland Park Middle School Red Raider Gold team. At midfield, your captains for the evening for the Lions. It's number 2, Carice Hoyt. Number 4, Ugo Anasaki. And number 12, Alexis Zavala. And your captains.
Hello everyone, welcome to Highlander Stadium. This is Raider Football presented by Game On Sports. Will Washington here with Mikey Lamar. Mikey has just gotten back from Japan. This is literally your first stop since landing. How does it feel to be back here at Highlander Stadium, first stop after landing?
Well, konnichiwa, Will. It feels great to be here. You know, number one thing I missed in Japan was football, so great to be getting a big dose of it here with the Raiders game.
We got a fun one here tonight. It is the Highland Park 8th grade gold team versus the McKinney Dowell Lions. Highland Park 2-0 on the season. Got a 32-6 win a week ago at McKinney Evans. And they had a rough start to the game, Mikey. They actually started the game with a fumble on the kickoff return. McKinney went right down and scored. And then Buck Randall threw an interception. But then from then on, they were lights out. They got stops. Buck went 11 for 11 the rest of the game. I have him for 3 touchdowns. And Highland Park scored 32 straight points, won 32-6. So it's pretty good for them to get hit in the mouth early, have to adapt to that, and then come back the rest of the way.
Yeah, well, when this team's clicking, they're a scary bunch. So hopefully we can see a bit of that today.
We are underway here. That is Brooks Biggers, the running back for the Raiders, as he falls forward, showing a little bit of strength there. The very first game of the season here at Highlander Stadium, Mikey, you remember Biggers took back the opening punt return for a touchdown. So he's a dynamic threat, and he gives the Raiders some pretty good field position to start this one.
Yeah, Biggers he's one of the most dynamic players I've seen out there in Highlander Stadium. That's saying a lot. Reminds me of the likes of Reggie Bush, where he's one of those players, anytime he touches the ball, you just kind of hold your breath because he can do something special.
And he's going to go out there as the Raiders will begin with the football. Buck Randall starting at quarterback for Highland Park tonight. Brooks Biggers right next to him in the backfield as they line up in a 2-by-2 formation. Randall looks to throw, flings it, showing that arm strength. That one is incomplete to Max Green. It's going to bring up a 2nd 10.
Max Green, your quarterback for the Raiders, number 4, Buck Randall.
These Raiders mix in different receivers. They've got a lot of talented guys. See Cole Flashnick out there. Looks like Liam Thomas getting a starter receiver as well, as Randall runs the option, pitches it to Biggers. He dances on the sideline for the Raiders' first down of the night.
It's a great read by Randall right there, just to absorb that hit and get the pitch out in time. Biggers does the rest, getting the first down.
Once again on the carry.
Mikey, we've got a fun one again tonight. We've got some special guests here with us that are going to join us in the second quarter. We've got Highland Park captain and starting running back Jay Cox, and we've got one of the starting receivers for the Scots, Grayson Shrink. These guys are going to be joining us. We're going to talk to them about 8th grade football and the varsity season as Randall throws it to the flat. That one is complete to Liam Thomas. Randall really threading the needle there. It's going to bring up a 2nd and 3. Raiders with 3 receivers to the left. Randall rolls left. He goes deep to the corner. That one is bobbled and incomplete to Cole Flashnick. And Mikey, one of the things that's most impressive about Buck Randall, I saw it last week. He had a touchdown like this, he's right-handed, but when he rolls to the left, he can still fling it. He had a touchdown throw when he was scrambling to the left, so he's really dangerous when he rolls to either side.
Yeah, it just shows his athleticism there. Big thing about rolling left as a righty is to get your hips back square, and he does that brilliantly. Makes a good throw there. Just couldn't come up with the catch, but
Lions just with one safety deep here as Randall just runs it for the first down. Raiders coached by Andy Watkins, who's been there for quite a while now, does a really good job getting these guys ready before they go to high school next year. And he's showing a little bit in the playbook tonight. Got some option runs going on, and then got Randall throwing it to both sides of the field early here.
Yeah, we've seen him work both ways, throwing and running the ball, run the option both ways. So love to see the play calling mix-ups by the coach.
1st and 10.
Randall rolls right this time. Passes it. It's going to be another first down. And that one is complete to Cole Flashnick. So he's gotten a couple targets. I believe he had a touchdown in the first game here at Highlander Stadium.
That was a great catch there to adjust. Ball was a little high. Went up and got it. Brought it down. Got a foot in bounds. I think there was a flag on the play. Looks like holding.
So it's holding on the Raiders. That one's going to bring him back
Holding call
10 yards here.
against the Raiders.
Gets him behind the chains on this one. Talked to Randall earlier. He said his goal tonight, he wants to stay calm in the pocket, really get his feet set, make good decisions on time. So far you're seeing that, but another flag on the field.
Nice little hard count from Randall to draw the offsides.
Offsides.
I get some 5 yards back there. Winning the chess match right now.
Replay for
That'll make it a 1st and 15 for the Raiders. On the outside there on the left at receiver for the Raiders, Griffin Henry had 3 touchdowns a week ago. So he was finding the end zone. Handed off to Biggers for a little bit of a gain.
on the carry for the Raiders. That's number 1, Brooks Biggers. Brought down by number 2, Carice Hoyt.
It's going to bring up a 2nd and 12. So Raiders starting this game with a nice patient drive. Randall drops back, gets it over to Biggers. He is tackled behind the line of scrimmage. That's a nice play there from the Lions defensively. Really read that well. That's going to set up a 3rd and long, Mikey.
Yeah, that was a little dump off pass to the running back there, and just an incredible open field tackle there. We know how hard Biggers is to bring down in the open field. So credit to the defender on that play. That was a really nice play.
I mean, so much of what they can do offensively is getting guys like Biggers in space with the ball. So they're going to be tested here on a 3rd and 19. Randall's going to throw it deep to try to get all of it. That one's going to go out of bounds. That'll bring up a 4th down. And Mikey, really there, it just comes back to getting behind the chains early. You get that holding call, that puts you behind the chains. So you're already starting from behind there. And that brings up a long 4th down.
Yeah, whenever you get a holding call on 1st down, get 10 yards behind the chains, it's always tough to make that up. Moved forward a little bit, but just going to get the job done there. Expect to see a punt here.
Randall does, in fact, kick it. And it'll be stopped Just a little before the 30-yard line. And, Mikey, this is something the Scots like to do at the varsity level is the ability to have their quarterback kick the ball because it can kind of confuse the opposition. There's times you can line up like that and then run a play. So you would see Matt Stafford do that.
Yep.
You'd see a variety of quarterbacks do that over the years. So you can see they're already doing that with Buck Randall. That's going to send out this Raiders defense that's just had a phenomenal season. They've allowed a combined 12 points, allowing 6 points a game. So they've done a really good job so far. Got a lot of talent on this defense. And we know for how they like to play, Mikey, it all starts with the battle up front. These three defensive linemen, they're emphasizing filling their gaps so these linebackers can come and make the tackles. And so far, these D linemen have been getting in the backfield.
Yeah. When you run a three-man front, a lot of it's about space eating for those guys up front to let the linebackers make plays and make tackles. So they do a great job of it, and it shows in their performances.
Raiders send a blitz. Can't quite get to him. And that pass is complete. That's a nice throw there. And he's all alone. That's Ugo Anasicki. And he takes it all the way and scores. So this is a tough start for the Raiders. Nice job by the quarterback there, finding a guy in space. And then a really good play there by Anasicki. Taking it all the way. You look up and the Lions are up 6-0, Mikey.
Yeah, sometimes you just get beat by a great play, and that's what that was right there by Anasicki. Great catch and a great run after the catch to get the touchdown, too.
Looks like the Raiders sent some pressure on the other side, but quarterback just rolled away from it and found a little space in the defense. So the Raiders started like this a week ago. They turned it over on the opening kickoff, and the Lions went down and scored. And so they went down early. They've done this before. Tonight they fall down 8-0. And they were tested last week. So we're going to see if they can get it back right here. And really, Mike, it just starts with positive yards on first down. You want to get early down success. And so you'd expect them to bounce back pretty good. They did it a week ago. And they're going to look to do it right here.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised to see a run play on first down just to get the big guys up front moving downhill, get the ball going, and then build off that, maybe get some play action later in the drive. But
it's 8-0 Lions over the Raiders, 3:52 left. This is a view of our Game On Sports booth here, Mikey. We are live on TV right now as this is brought to you by Game On Sports, special edition of Raider football. We've got all sorts of special guests coming on tonight. We've got Jay Cox, Highland Park running back and captain. We've got Grayson Schrank, Highland Park receiver. So we've got some star power that's going to be coming up here in the second quarter. We're going to ask them questions about the varsity season. We're going to talk to them just about some middle school memories and get some of their commentary on the game. But in the meantime, Raiders are going to see if they can equalize the score right here. It's kind of an interesting kickoff formation right here from the Lions. A nice run by Harley Eckert. He takes it all the way around, tiptoes on the sideline. He's into Lion territory. A nice return there from Eckert.
And on the return,
they kicked it away from Biggers, which is always smart. But this Raiders team has playmakers all over the field, as you see there. Harley just switching the field, coming to the near side, and taking it up the sideline for a great return.
In the first game of the season against McKinney Fabian, they won 48-6. But what we talked about was that the thing that stood out to us the most was the special teams. Yeah. Punt returns, kick returns, but also kicking off. They were just phenomenal all game and got a lot of good field position because of the way their special teams played. Even got a touchdown. So they get to start in really good field position because of that. They're going to start with two running backs here, a little adjustment from Coach Watkins, and Biggers takes it outside. Nice little juke move. He's coming around the other way. Kind of Kyler Murray-esque there from Biggers. And Mikey, he really is the ideal running back for this Highland Park system. It's one of the things that we noticed when we called this first game is they like to do a lot of zone runs, some of these outside zone concepts. Just the way that he is, he's got really good vision, really good agility. He's quick with his feet. So really a perfect guy to put in this offense.
Yeah, he reminds me a lot of Jay Cox, to be honest. Another thing he's great at is catching the ball. It's a big thing. I know the HP coaches value that a lot, is running backs that can catch, and just like Jay Cox, he is that pass-catching running back.
And the thing you can see right there is the way that he runs the ball is he's shiftier. He's got agility. He's really good in that zone scheme. But one thing you'll see about him is he regularly falls forward. And because he did right there, he gained him some positive yards, and the Raiders have a first down. So not only are you seeing Bigger's agility, but he can be deceptively physical with the way that he falls forward as the Raiders stick to this 2 running back formation. Little counter run there. And they're going to get more positive yardage. It's Buck Randall. That's 2 for. That's Beckett Curtis. So
once again brought down by number 82, Bo.
Curtis playing outside backer for the Raiders, so getting in there at running back. So as you predicted, Mikey, going to the run right here.
Great play there from the right guard and the right tackle pulling, creating a big hole there. It was just execution up front.
Randall drops back, throws the bubble. He's immediately tackled. You got to give credit to the Lions here. That's Anasicki, so he scored the touchdown. So you can tell he's clearly one of their best athletes. He's playing both ways, making plays defensively in space and offensively in space. So the Lions so far are doing a really good job reading these plays kind of in the flat, in the backfield area, making these tackles. But Maggie, I want to go back to what you were saying about the Raiders' offensive line. That's not easy for an 8th grade offensive line. You're asking them to run some zone, which they did effectively, and then they're running more of a gap scheme, pulling those 2, the guard and the tackle. So if you can run both of those, you're going to have a lot of success on the ground.
Yeah, it's a big luxury to have, especially as a play caller. You can really open up the offense.
Now you see the play action right there. That one is complete to Biggers in the flat, and that's exactly what you're talking about, that Biggers is a threat in the receiving game as well. And this is what happens when you run the football well out of this 2-back formation that the Scots love to use on the varsity level. You can set up play action. It can be pretty devastating. So they're inching closer to the goal line on the 10-yard line right here. It's going to be 1st and goal for the Raiders.
Yeah, you see Buck sell that play action really well, get the linebackers frozen, and then just find Biggers in the flats, let him do his thing.
They're going to stick with this 2-back formation. The Lions want a timeout, and that's probably a smart timeout right now as the Raiders are just rolling down the field. So early on, you saw what the Raiders were doing. Coach Watkins makes an adjustment. He goes to that 2-back formation, which, again, is something that we see Coach Allen do regularly at the varsity level in this offense. They love using the 2-backs because if you've got 2 talented guys back there, especially with a quarterback that can move his feet, you start running the ball, you can do a lot of things out of that formation. So they found something that works. They're sticking with it. They're going to try to punch it in here from the 10-yard line.
Yeah, and credit to Coach Watkins because as you Texas A&M fans will know, it's frustrating when you get stubborn play calling from your coach. So credit to Watkins for making the adjustment after that first drive and putting the 2-backs in and running with that. And you see the success of it so far.
So Mikey calling out his collegiate coach right there while giving credit to Coach Watkins as the Raiders on the 10-yard line. And really seeing the diversity of the offense on this one. I already said it. I'm going to say it again. I'm really impressed with an 8th grade offensive line that can run the classic Highland Park zone scheme like this, but then pull the guard and the tackle and get a nice gain like that.
Yeah.
I love seeing that. Raiders line up with 3 receivers to the right. 1 minute, 10 seconds left in this opening quarter from Highlander Stadium. Randall rolls right. He throws it in the back of the end zone all alone. That's a touchdown for the Raiders. Trying to get a number here. It looks like Cole Flashnick in the corner doing a great job right there.
Number 9.
Not the easiest to see on these gold jerseys, Mikey, but touchdown for the Raiders. And he's becoming one of Randall's favorite targets right there. Randall does a really good job finding his slot receivers, found him in the corner of the end zone. We're going to talk to Grayson Trankin a little bit. He is an inside receiver for the Scots, and he is a master at finding those corners in the end zone. So Randall, you got to love that. Very patient, didn't force it in there, waited for Flashnick to get open. And because of that, we're all tied up here at 8. Raiders bouncing back after coming down early.
Yep, that was exactly what I was going to say. Buck was doing a great job being patient, just waiting for that to come open. You could see it kind of coming open as it was developing, and then Buck just waited and then threw a dart for a touchdown. Cole made a great catch. Love to see that great execution from the Raiders.
Flashnick with the opening game touchdown there. Just does a good job getting in the end zone. So great resiliency there from the Raiders. It's 8-8 now, deep in this first quarter. This is Raider football presented by Game On Sports, as you're getting a look at the future of Highland Park football. Will Washington here with former Scott defensive back Mikey Lamar. We've got two Scott's varsity players set to join us in the second quarter here, and Jay Cox and Grayson Shrake. Then we've got Jeff Kolb from Fox 4 going to jump on in a little bit here. He's going to watch the game with us and give us some of his thoughts. So we got a star-studded lineup tonight here at Highlander Stadium, Mikey.
Yeah, we really do.
These are fun broadcasts. And so, Mikey, really only one play run for McKinney offensively. Mm-hmm. They rolled out away from the blitz. They found the guy in space, took it all the way. Raiders are going to look to make some adjustments, but really haven't seen a lot of the Lions offense yet, so you still don't totally know what you're adjusting to. I will say this, the first two games of the season, when you go back and watch them, that kickoff is fumbled. They might not have to play defense here. That's going to be recovered by the Raiders. See who got the football right there. It's like number 48, Hunter Harmon, and I say this humbly, that was my freshman number at Highland Park. But Hunter Harmon channeling his inner Will Washington special teams heroics, getting the turnover. And again, we've been talking about it. This Raiders team has been dominant on special teams. So once again, because of special teams, once because of a return, second one right here because of a turnover, the Raiders offense is getting great field position.
You know, clearly there's something about that number 48. I heard Matthew Stafford wore it his freshman year too.
I'm sure he did. All the greats did their freshman year.
I mean, yeah, Jay Cox did too. There's just something about it. And Hunter making a great play, just being alive, being first to the ball, just showed how much he wanted it. That play was a lot about desire, and he went out and got it.
That's exactly right, and that really is pure desire, and that's what you want to see on the film tomorrow. If you're a Raiders coach, looks like the Lions are going to take a timeout. They're having to send their defense on there with pretty short notice. But when you're playing on special teams, that's one of the things you want to see is somebody that plays hard through the whistle. So he saw that ball bounce, but he already had a great start off the kick.
Yep.
And so that's a great example from number 48, Hunter Harmon right there. That's what you want to see on the special teams. But what I was going to say before the Raiders came back on offense there after that turnover is in the first two games, they were playing teams that really just ran the ball. They were running a lot of I formation stuff. So it's going to be good for them tonight if the Lions do, in fact, stick with passing it a little bit, rolling it out for them to see kind of a different type of offense. We are going to have to wait to see that here as the Raiders will look to build a lead tonight. 51 seconds left in this first quarter. Just shy of the 30-yard line here, Mikey. What are you looking for here as the Raiders get set to try to build a lead for the first time tonight?
I'm going to expect more two-back sets. If it ain't broke, don't. So I think they'll keep the ball on the ground some more, and then maybe go play action. Let Buck find some of his receivers, but I'd expect to keep it on the ground.
They're going to go four wide right here. Randall still in at quarterback. It's going to be offsides. He gets a free play. Tosses it to the end zone. That one is incomplete to Griffin Hamner. And they have scored on that twice this season, at least that I'm aware of. They'll see the team jump off sides, and then Randall does a great job looking for Griffin Hamner. Twice he scored on a go route, so he did a really good job adjusting to the post right there, just based on the positioning. So Randall and Hamner really on the same page when there's an offside. You might as well take a shot. It's a free play.
Yeah. Good job by the entire offense just to not move when the defense jumps. And then great awareness by Buck to realize free play and to take a deep shot. Barely missed his receiver there, but you love to see that from a young quarterback.
That puts you at 1st and 5.
22.
You got Huck Corwin left inside receiver in tonight as Randall evades the pressure. His little dance, finds open grass, and he's got a man in the end zone. That is caught. Touchdown, Raiders. What an unbelievable play by Buck Randall, keeping the play alive. That's to Huck Corwin.
And that's just an unbelievable play by Randall. I think he goes down about 3 times. Then he just squirts out and makes an incredible throw, rolling left again. Find Huck in the end zone for a touchdown. You know, great players just make great plays. That's what it is. Buck to Huck.
Buck to Huck.
Love to see it.
You might be seeing that for a long time here. We know that Huck Corwin having some brothers on the team. He's got some blood in the program, especially at that inside receiver position. So finding the end zone right there. And again, back to Buck Randall, really what you love to see is he does a great job just running the offense.
Mm-hmm.
Makes quick reads, gets rid of the ball. But then what you want to be able to see with your quarterback is not only running the offense, but when the play breaks down, you can make a play like that. And that's so devastating for a defense because you get some pressure, you think you have it. Those are really what you call game-breaking plays. When the defense thinks they have them, they're off schedule, and then the quarterback just makes an incredible play, gets it to the end zone. That can really deflate a defense. So Buck Randall really doing a good job there. And you look out, they fell down 8-0. Now they're up 16-8.
Yeah, that's what we were talking about. They did last week, going down early and then coming right back, just getting it clicking. So love to see that. And what you're saying about Buck, you know, it's the type of players that keep defensive coordinators up at night. You account for everything on defense except that. You can't account for that X factor, and Buck has that X factor. So on full display there.
So Raiders up 16-8. Defense has only been on the field for one play. 36 seconds left as that kick is up. Just caught that. Try a little reverse. The Raiders sniff that out. Find a little bit of a seam there. That is Inasicki again. Clearly one of the playmakers for this Lions team, playing both ways. Raiders did a good job there. They tried to mess with their eyes a little bit. Really did a good job staying in their lanes. And we'll get to see this Raiders defense for the second time tonight.
That brings up first down for the Lions.
Yeah, great discipline there from the kickoff team. That's something the coaches preach, just staying in your lane, doing your job. And you see that there on the kickoff coverage. Great job.
So again, only seeing this Raiders defense for one play here. They're going to look to bounce back and get a stop right here. Got to give Inasicki some credit making that touchdown, but Raiders looking to get off the field right here deep in this first quarter. That's Carice Hoyt at quarterback, also plays linebacker for the Lions. And there's Inasicki at running back again. Hoyt's going to keep it. Evades a tackle. Falls forward. Looks like he's going to get the first down there. So, Mike, you're seeing some playmakers here for the Lions. This is a good test for the Raiders defense. That's Carice Hoyt keeping the ball right there. So between the two guys in the backfield, this is going to be a challenge tonight for the Raiders to get to the quarterback quickly, make good reads, and try to get these guys on the ground.
Yeah. Can tell they've got playmakers on the offensive side of the ball. So be a good test for this Raiders team, especially on the back end where they haven't been tested as much this year. But I know the secondary guys were telling me this week they're excited. They want to play one of a more explosive passing offense, just get some more action and make more plays. So expect to see them respond to that and play up to the challenge.
So we got a fun one here from Highlander Stadium. This is Raider football presented by Game On Sports. Raiders up 16-8. And we're going to get these guys in here for this second quarter. Some of these Highland Park Scots varsity guys. Let's start with, we'll just see who walks in here first. We're going to have Mikey hand the headset off. We got Jay Cox. We're going to get him the mic first here, and then we've got Grayson Schrank right here. We're going to pass it over to him, see if we can get these guys to hang with us for a little bit of the second quarter, maybe all of the second quarter. Jay, we'll see how he feels. So Jay Cox right here with me tonight. Jay, starting running back for the Scots varsity team and captain. And so, first of all, you went to Providence, so you didn't go to Highland Park. You made the switch. How's it feel being out here watching some 8th grade football tonight?
You know, it's really cool just to see how all these kids like started playing all together, and how me coming in ninth grade. And I'm talking to Grayson over here, asking him all these questions about how like PATs are 2 points and other rules that I just didn't know. So it's really cool.
Handoff goes again to number 4. Scott's doing a really good job there. It's Anasicki again, really the main playmaker for the Lions, and did a good job there getting in the backfield. That's what you want to do, Jay, especially on these early downs. The Lions have had some success on these early downs. So if you're the Raiders, you really want to get them with little gains or behind the chains early here.
Yeah, I definitely think running it on first down is always setting the statement. See if you can do it for the rest of the game. It's something that we always do.
Yeah, and Jason, let's talk about it. So you didn't go to Highland Park in middle school. You transferred over from a private school. What was that process like for you? I mean, you jump right into Highland Park, 9th grade football. You're learning the offense. You're kind of having to figure it out. What was that like for you, making that switch?
I knew a couple people from just playing lacrosse and some other sports, like 7-on-7. But coming in, I think definitely having football as a sport, especially because it was first semester, that's kind of how I found my friends. And so it wasn't too hard for me to fit in and just find some people that I had fun with. So I thought it was pretty easy, to transfer in. I thought it was a lot of fun. I definitely like it a lot, but I miss Providence just a little bit.
Well, Washington here with Jay Cox. Scott starting running back. We're going to ask him some questions throughout this one. As it is 3rd and 10 for the Lions. He's going to throw it over the middle. Had a guy there, just missed it. That's going to bring up a 4th down. So that's exactly what you want to see if you're the Raiders, doing a really good job getting them in 3rd and long. Looks like there's a flag on the play, though. It's a holding on the offense. They're going to decline it, so that'll bring up 4th and 10. We'll see what the Lions do right here. And, Jay, when the offense comes out, we're going to talk some Highland Park offense with you once we get through this drive right here.
Sounds good.
Looks like the Lions, looks like a punt. They will, in fact, kick it. It's a short punt. That's going to take a favorable bounce for the Raiders. So Raiders, 3 straight possessions, getting really positive field position. That one just south of the 50. It looks like Buck Randall going to head back out there at quarterback. So, Jay, we got to ask you this. If my math was right, you scored 6 touchdowns in the first half of the game on Friday. That was at Irving. You guys won 63-0. I didn't get to go to it, but as I was checking, I kept seeing Jay Cox touchdown, Jay Cox touchdown, Jay Cox touchdown. You had 1 punt return, so you got in the end zone 6 times. Your fantasy numbers were unbelievable if there was high school fantasy football. How did it feel to score 6 times in a half?
It felt really cool. I was kind of surprised I kept, looks like a double pass here.
Double pass. That one is just incomplete. That was Cole Flashnick trying to throw it over there to Griffin Hamner. Highland Park pulling out a trick play. But, 6 touchdowns in the first half.
So, it was really cool. I was kind of surprised they kept calling the ball, running-wise. But it was a really cool feeling. It was definitely a lot of kudos to my offensive linemen because, I think I had 6 rushing attempts for 5 touchdowns. And I just, so much of that is me and so much of that, a lot more of it is them. So they played a great game. So, but it was awesome, great feeling. So it was something that, I've never done before. So it was awesome.
Well, I love that you're giving credit to the offensive line. Those guys a lot of times don't get a lot of credit. As a skill guy, you're the one getting a lot of the credit and the celebration. But those guys have done a really good job this season. A few guys that got snaps last year, but a lot of new guys. A lot of guys that were not in the games as much last year. Some of these key guys graduated. Just talk about what it's been like adjusting and really growing in chemistry these first few games of the season with those guys.
I would say that every year it starts off a little shaky. Just especially with blocking the inter-squad scrimmage because our defense knows us so well, and that's kind of what we experienced this year. But Coach Wells and Coach Farnsley always do a great job of kind of making them one team and gluing them together. And so I knew that our guys could do it, especially how good we were freshman year and seeing all those kids grow and be a lot better. So, I'm excited for what they have, because I think all of us, our whole team and all, can play a lot better than we have been playing. So, but they've been doing amazing. So it's been really fun to see them play and just get better and better every single week.
Looks like there's a penalty there. So the Raiders with a first down in Lion territory as Randall evades the pressure, flings it over the middle. He's got a man, but that goes through the hands of Huck Corwin. Randall working some magic again, rolling to the left. He's done a really good job evading the pressure tonight and finding open receivers. That one just over Huck Corwin brings up a 2nd and 10. So we're watching here with Jay Cox, Highland Park, running back and captain. And Jay, going back to that, just you talking about the success you guys have had early in this season, a lot of guys did not predict you guys to start like this. Flower Mound Marcus, first game here, Highlander Stadium. A lot of people were picking Marcus to win that game. You guys played Louisville. A lot of people picking them to win. You had the big first district game with Lake Highlands at home as Brooks Biggers takes it to the left. Gets a really good gain on first down, set up a 3rd and short right there. But you guys have really exceeded people's expectations. So what's that like? I mean, I'm sure you're hearing the noise a little bit. Are you guys talking about that in the locker room? Has that motivated you guys? How do you guys let it motivate you, but at the same time, block it out and really just believe in what you guys are as a team?
I would say we're always not favored to win. We're always the underdogs. But I think there's something special, especially this year, with this group of people that we have. It's going to be a fun year. I think we have a lot to prove, as our motto is something to prove. I think we definitely are the team that can go all the way. So it's going to be a fun year, prove a lot of people wrong. And, just as far as not letting it get to our heads, I think we know what we're capable of and we know what we should do.
Randall rolls right. That's a touchdown to Cole Flashnick. That's the 2nd time he's found Flashnick tonight. Flashnick turned into a touchdown machine here. And I got to give a lot of credit on that to Brooks Biggers. As Randall was rolling right, Brooks Biggers made a block kind of away from him there, not allowing defensive guys to get to him. He made 2 blocks right there, so gave Randall a little extra space. So great stuff from your running back there, Brooks Biggers, and then Randall finding Flashnick again in the end zone. But let's talk about that, Jay. As a running back, just pointed that out with Brooks Biggers there. You want to get the ball, you want to get in the end zone, but you also got to make some blocks as well. What's it like for you just balancing that out, trying to get the ball in the end zone, making the plays, but doing the little things that aren't often noticed necessarily by people watching the game, but you know that you guys definitely celebrate those things?
I think, that's definitely a big part of running back is blocking. And last year I was never a big blocker. We had Ben Crozell for that, but this year I've had to kind of step up in that area. And it's just kind of been a thing that I've grown to just love. It's not something that you can just do and kind of halfway do it, because you really have to go full speed and decide you're going to want to block. And so this year I've just kind of made it a fun game, with me and the offensive linemen. I have challenges with them and I have fun with them about it. And so it's just been a part of the game that I've improved in that I really have fun doing now. And so, it's a big part because having that extra blocker in the backfield is huge especially for our big passing offense. So I think that's a big just way I can help our team out, because the receivers block for me on run plays, so I can block for them when they get the ball.
Raiders with a huge special teams play again there. Because I've been saying it through these first 3 games, but the Raiders special teams has just been dominant. Saw a bunch of Raiders get in. Charlie Davenport, one of the guys down there, trying to talk the refs into a safety there, which I love that. So they're going to put him at, that looks like about the 2-yard line. So Raiders just winning the battle of field position tonight. We're watching here Jay Cox, starting running back and captain for Highland Park. Jay, let's just ask you a few more questions if that's okay before we get Grayson out here. We're talking about Brooks Biggers earlier. One of the things I was talking to Mikey about is he's really a great running back for this system. You guys like to do the zone running plays. What does it take to run this system? I mean, it's really a system that requires you to have really good vision. I mean, what would you tell a young running back in this system? What do they need to focus on to really thrive in it?
I would say that just patience, honestly, and just letting the plays develop, because a lot of our plays, it's pulling linemen, and sometimes it always doesn't open up right away, but just developing, as you said, the vision and just the patience to be able to see where to cut and what hole to go through, what gap. So I would say that's kind of the biggest thing, and also blocking, because nowadays Coach Gibbs, that's one of the biggest things he harps on, and if you can block well, you'll be playing on Friday night. So
love that. So if you're watching this, if you're an 8th grader, you're going to go back and watch this. Wise words from Jay Cox here. Got to have patience if you're going to be a running back, and then you got to block. It's not just about getting the ball. It's not just about getting in the end zone. I remember playing receiver here, and they gave you a receiver's manual, and one of the first things on it was, if you don't block, you're not going to play. And they were very clear about that. It doesn't matter what you can do with the ball. If you're not committed to blocking, you're not going to get in the game. So we'll ask one more here for Jay Cox as it's 2nd and 7. Lions way backed up right here. 3:35 left in the second quarter. Quarterback's going to roll out. Just trying to get away from the goal line here, get some positive yards. That'll set up a 3rd and short. So, Jay, one last thing for you. You guys have the bye week this week, and then you're back in action on the road Friday, September 23rd at Berkner. What are you guys focused on right here as you guys are in the bye week of this season?
Right now with the bye week, it's kind of just staying focused at this point, because a lot of people are kind of just like, oh, there's no point to practice, there's no point to do this or that. And it's just keeping everybody focused and coming with that attitude that we're going to have a great day and learn a lot. And so we don't have a game this Friday, but I definitely think we're using this week as just continuing to learn and rest up for our next opponent.
I think I misspoke there. It's not Berkner 23rd, because that would be this Friday. I believe you guys, your next game is Jesuit at home, right?
Yes.
Okay, so I misspoke there. Their next game is next Friday here at Highlander, the Battle of the Tollway, as Coach Clark and I like to call it. So you can expect some energy in that one. So we're going to try to get Grayson Schrank in here. Jay, thanks so much for being with us tonight.
Thank you for having me.
And we're going to transition over to Grayson here. So we are now joined by Grayson Schrank, starting receiver for the Scots. Grayson, thanks for coming and hanging out with us tonight for a little bit here.
Of course. Thanks for having me.
Grayson's going to watch the end of this half. Someone's going to be kept by the quarterback. Looks like he's just short of the first down marker. So, Grayson, I've known you for a long time. You've been playing inside receiver, as a Raider, 7th grade, 8th grade. You were out here making plays as a slot receiver. You've been seeing Huck Corwin, who his brother. I think that one of them kind of took you under his wing a little bit, right? A few years ago.
Finn and Crockett, really. But Huck is, my family and his family are really good friends. So I'm kind of trying to take on that and take Huck under my wing whenever I can. But Finn really helped me as a inside receiver develop and become who I am today. But
TC Weed doing a good job making initial contact, but ball carrier kind of spinning outside. Raiders finishing the tackle there. That'll bring up a 2nd down, 1:40 left in this opening half. So, Grayson, one of the things about your story that I love is you came out, you had an awesome sophomore year. I remember being in the end zone, working sideline for your first touchdown. I'm trying to remember where it was. It was on the road. Rockwall, that's right. Yeah, you scored down there. And then later in that season, you had a couple touchdowns right here late in the season at Highlander. And then you had the injury last year. And that was really discouraging for you. But you kept your head up. You worked really hard. And you're back here. And you've really just had a dominant season so far. How did you do that? How did you just keep your head up in the midst of some of that discouragement of having the injury and then getting to come back out here and having a great senior season?
It was tough, I'm not going to lie, but I think that it took a lot of patience. And, I was able to be on the sideline and try to hold my head up and be there for my teammates when they're on the field because, I mean, my sophomore year I had a great year, and I was excited to be a junior playing, but unfortunately that didn't happen. And so, I mean, I just had to be there for my teammates, and thankfully now that they're there for me, and it just all worked out really great and learned a lot from that experience.
Raiders taking a time out there. One of the things I love on that play we just saw is you can really see it from the press box here, but the Raiders just instantly read that play and flocked to the football, had great pursuit, and then Luke Cecil out there making the tackle. Luke also playing receiver for the Raiders, so he can play both ways. But Grayson, as you were saying, here with Grayson Schrank starting inside receiver for the Scots, had to overcome that injury. You're back out this season, and it just looks like you're having a lot of fun out there, getting to watch you. You're scoring touchdowns. I remember being down here in the end zone a couple weeks ago in the Lake Highlands game. You scored on a corner route, and we saw them score on a corner route earlier. That's a hard route to run as an inside receiver. I mean, your back is turned, you're going full speed, but I've seen you score on that multiple times. What does it take as an inside receiver to have such good awareness of where the sideline is, how to have that kind of body control? What's allowing you to do that right now?
Well, I mean, first of all, it started right here on this field. Back in 7th, 8th grade, me and Brennan, I mean, we used to run corner routes all the time on McKinney Dowell or any of the McKinney schools, and it started right here. But, I mean, Coach Allen does a great job getting me in. Usually we run it from the right hash, and I get all that field to work with and try to use my speed to stem the safety and get outside. But, I mean, Brennan does a great job throwing it. He puts me right on the pylon. Last week, unfortunately, I had one. It was out of bounds, but just barely. But, I mean, corner route's probably one of my favorite routes to run, especially near the goal line.
So, Grayson, as I was kind of mentioning earlier, one of the things that's so clear about you out there this season, and it's fun as these couple home games, I've gotten to really see it just kind of from the end zone view, is you're just having a blast out there. Mm-hmm. I mean, you're high-fiving guys. You're getting guys fired up. Talk about how much fun it is. I mean, you've talked about this season. You've been looking forward to it because you started playing a lot as a sophomore, but now you're playing with guys that you grew up with, guys like Luke Herring, mm-hmm. guys like Bo Lilly, guys like Jackson Hayes. Brennan has been thrown to you for years. What's it like just playing with those guys? Talk about the fun you guys are having out there right now.
It is so much fun. I mean, us receivers, we all have friendly competitions during games and practice, all that. But just being able to play with the guys that I've been playing with since 4th, 5th, 6th grade, it's like it is just so much fun. And it's really different than sophomore year because a lot of those guys I was playing with my brother and his friends, so I kind of looked up to those guys. But now I get to be with really my friends and the people I grew up with. And so that's why it's so much fun, and we all use so much enthusiasm, and it's just so much fun out there.
Grayson, let's talk about the season you guys are having right now. A lot of people did not pick you guys to start 4-0, and I'm sure you're well aware of that. There were multiple people, so-called experts, that said you guys were going to lose the first 2 games in particular. And you guys came out especially – as an offense looks like a nice little play there. Brooks Biggers has some serious agility. He's going to take the Raiders in there with 11 seconds. So we're going to make sure we get the call here as they're probably taking an end zone shot here, trying to get some points before halftime. But Grayson, you guys, again, 4-0 on the season. You're playing really well. This offense has just been clicking. I mean, a lot of people, again, they kind of didn't think that was going to happen necessarily. You guys believed it. Brennan coming back for his second season as starter. And it looks like his brother, Dowell, actually in at quarterback right now. So we're gonna watch this play, and then we'll finish this question right here. Is the Raiders in 5 wide as Dell Storr in at quarterback, younger brother of Highland Park starting quarterback Brennan Storr. Dell looks left. He rolls right. Flings it all the way to the end zone. That's picked off. He looked like he had a man, but that is intercepted by the Lions. Looks like he had a guy in the end zone, but a nice play there from Carice Hoyt. Just seeing that. So that's going to give the Lions the ball back with 4 seconds. But, Grayson, you guys, again, as we were saying, offense having a lot of success. But the thing that's scary about a Highland Park offense is you guys usually get better as the season goes on. So you've got the bye week right now. How do you feel where you guys are as an offense right now? And what are you guys looking to keep getting better at?
I mean, I feel great. Our offense is flying on all cylinders. We were a little bit worried about the O-line at first, but I think the O-line has done a great job in protecting Brennan and Jay and letting Brennan have time to throw. But, I mean, when you have the weapons that we do on offense and the speed that we have, it's pretty hard to stop. And Brennan can throw it to any of us starters, all 5 of us. But I think it's really cool how many weapons we have on offense and that he has the ability to throw to or hand off to whoever, and they're going to go make a play.
The Raiders almost got the safety right there. That will take us to the end of the first half with the Raiders up 24-8. Started in a deficit, 8-0, but great play from them. Again, once again, the theme started on special teams, up 24-8. Got to give a big thanks to Jay Cox, Highland Park running back and captain, joining us tonight, and then Grayson Schrank, Highland Park receiver. And if you have not gotten to watch the Scots play yet, make sure you tune in next Friday night here at Highlander Stadium. They're playing Jesuit. That's a big rivalry game. It's going to be a lot of fun. But this offense is fun to watch. It's a talented group of receivers. You never know who's going to score. So make sure you check these guys out. Last thought from you, Grayson, before we take a break for halftime. What are you guys looking forward to play Jesuit in a couple weeks here?
Oh, we're looking forward to the fans and everybody being there and just the excitement of the game. I mean, obviously we're looking forward to a win. But, I mean, just the excitement of the game and Battle of the Railroad, Tollway. I heard you say that earlier, but it'll be a fun one, and we know a bunch of those guys on Jesuit, so it should be a little friendly, competitive rivalry going on, but it should be a really good game.
Yeah, Coach Clark gets credit for that, but if it takes some traction, I would like credit for it. So just please remember that. Grayson Schrank, thanks for joining us. This is Raider Football presented by Game On Sports. Raiders up 24-8 at the break. We're going to take a quick break. We'll be back for the second half right after this.
Now introducing the Red Squad. Annie Cooper. Jane Rice. Caroline Worthen. Hope Colmer. Ainsley Wagner. Kai Carpenter. Emma Kersey. Chloe Holiday. McKenna O'Leary. Bonnie Ingstrom. Lily Holiday. Hannah Daish. Isabella Haggard. Macy Cahill. Sarah Skinner. Emery Paulson. Georgie Thomason. Lily Kate Rossman. Georgia Whitaker. And Mackenzie Elder. Your 8th grade Red Squad. Once again, give it up for your 8th grade Red Squad. Our athletic trainer on duty this evening, please give a warm welcome to Coach Kirk Capps. Right in front of you, white cap.
Welcome back to Highlander Stadium. This is Raider football presented by Game On Sports. Raiders up 24-8 as they just kick off to the Lions. Now joined by Jeff Kolb from Fox 4. So this is going to be fun, Jeff. You're in the media industry, jumping back in here, going to give us some thoughts. So far as you've watched this first half, what are your early takeaways on this Highland Park Raiders team?
Man, the arm talent from the quarterbacks, both of them. Buck Randall, just amazing. That one escape artist act was Kyler Murray-esque. And nice bounce back after that early touchdown.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you go down 8-0, and they just did a really good job. They didn't panic. They had to do that a week ago as well, like we talked about. So in these games, it's good to have to deal with a little bit of adversity.
Yeah, and I think offensively, like you and Mikey touched on in the first half, a lot of passing early on, offense stalls, they come out that second drive and run the ball a little bit more, mix it up, kind of open things up with the offense.
And that's what you're seeing so far here. So Raiders are going to start on defense. They've really done a great job since that opening touchdown. This quarterback's going to hold on to that one, get a positive gain. So Lions really sticking with that option, and they've had a little bit of success with it.
Yeah, you see the athletes from McKinney. A couple of those players are really a lot to handle, but the Raiders defense is containing them since that first touchdown.
Yeah, and so much of this defense, the Raiders are playing this 3-4, so a lot of it is built for these defensive linemen. They're trying to get in their gaps, and if they do that, really allows the linebackers to come in and make tackles. So really going to watch the defensive line here. And right there, that was success for the defensive line.
That's a great job of getting through that gap, making a tackle and avoiding a big play.
That's going to bring up a 2nd and 7 for the Lions offense. Like you said, Jeff, they've got some playmakers. I mean, we've seen some really positive things from them when they can get these guys in space, but that really is the challenge, is getting them in space.
Yeah, especially that number 4. I mean, he's been a playmaker in all phases, including they tried to get him the ball on special teams, that one lateral on the kickoff. But ever since that opening touchdown, this Highland Park team has kept things in check.
2nd down.
2nd and 7 for the Lions offense. Trying to get on the board early here in this second half. Really need to have a good drive here if they're going to try to make this one interesting. Handoff goes to Anasicki. Bounces it outside. Nice patient run there. Gets plenty of yards into Raiders territory, and that'll be a first down for the Lions.
You go on to Asiki on the carry.
This is the guy you were talking about, Jeff, Anasiki. That was a patient run there. Bounced it outside twice and got plenty of yards. It's good for the Raiders to have to play athletes like this to really test their tackling ability in space.
I know you were saying earlier, Will, that it's been a lot of running attacks, run-heavy attacks that this defense has faced. And while Anasiki's running the ball there, like you say, a different maybe caliber of athlete to go up against.
Absolutely. I mean, the first two games, they're playing a lot of I formation teams, and that makes sense at this level with who they're playing. But in high school, they're going to play a lot of spread teams, so it's good to play a team like this. Is a nice play there from Hoyt, really lowering the shoulder right there. But you want to see them have to play some good athletes that run a spread offense because, again, when they get to ninth grade next year and they get into the high school district, that's really what they're going to be playing against is guys that pretty much most of the teams they're going to play are going to have at least a few great athletes. They're going to be more spread, so they're going to try to get these guys in space. And if they want to have success at the varsity level, you're going to have to be able to make plays in space against good athletes.
And it's fun talking with a couple of the guys you just had on from the high school team. They were telling me how it's such a big jump, a learning curve when you get to ninth grade, but you're seeing the foundation being set right now for these eighth graders.
And that's really one of the things the program does such a good job of. They have a meeting at the beginning of the year. The varsity coaches come in, make sure that the middle school coaches are teaching the offense and the defense how they will in varsity. There's a building block approach. And so they really know exactly what they're doing. It's a time-tested system of teaching that just works. And so out here tonight, if you're a Scots football fan, you want to tune into these games because you're watching the future, but you're also watching the development process, and that's what's really fun about high school football.
Lots to be excited to with some of those playmakers when you're talking about a Brooks Biggers and seeing what he's able to do, and Buck Randall we're talking about with the arm there, and a lot to be excited about if this is the minor leagues of Highland Park football.
Yeah, those are just some football names, too. I mean, Brooks Biggers, Huck Corwin, Buck Randall, Cole Flashnick. I mean, those are made for the gridiron right there.
I like Pudge Henson. How about that? We got a Pudge on the roster, too.
Yeah, we're loaded with really good names.
Texas Rangers infusion here.
That's good parenting right there. Throws it out to the flat. Nice move there from the receiver, getting positive yards on first down. And that really is the key. If you're going to come in here to Highlander Stadium and try to pull off an upset, you have to have success on early downs. If you fall behind the chains, if you do not have positive yardage on early downs, you're not going to be able to have success on offense. So this is what the Lions need to do. It's a pretty good opening drive here for them.
No, it is, and it's a two-score game right now, and we've seen them have the one-play success with that early touchdown, but this is something we haven't seen tonight, putting together an extended drive, and now they're approaching the red zone.
So we're halfway through this third quarter. Raiders up 24-8. Lions have had the ball this whole quarter. Lining up with three receivers to the left. Quick pass out and a huge hit. Read beautifully. Looks like that's Luke Cecil, number 0. He's had two really good plays on defense. Read that perfectly and lit the guy up there.
If that's not physicality, Will, I don't know what is.
Seriously, that's what you want to see. Looks like he's playing safety right there. So you got to make a quick read, and you're coming downhill. That's a big physical play, and that's a guy that can play some receiver for the Raiders. So seeing him get in there at safety, come downhill, make a big hit, that's exactly what you want to see as a defensive coordinator.
And once again, a long third down here. So extended drive by McKinney, but Highland Park, one good play here from getting off the field.
Third and 10 for the Lions. Send a man in motion. They will run the option as Hoyt turns on the gas and falls forward with a host of Raiders right there. And once again, Jeff, you're seeing it from Carice Hoyt. He's got a burst. He patiently waited and got right up there and gets another first down for the Lions.
And not only that, he is not a small guy. He has a little Jalen Hurts to him with that type of run right there. It took a couple of Highland Park defenders to get him down.
It's an impressive round. Jeff, I'm just going to say this. We've referenced 2 OU quarterbacks. You've got Kyler Murray. You got Jalen Hurts. And no, I'm not calling him Bama or A&M there. We just need Baker Mayfield, and we've hit all three of them.
That's what I was going to say. We'll see if we can get a little Baker reference in here later.
We'll have to wait for it. That may be a harder one to find, but
we need the rollout on the right foot, toss to the end zone for the touchdown.
So we're going to see if maybe Buck Randall can give us that one.
I think Buck could do that.
Yeah, we've seen him go to the left. See if he can give us the Baker right as Hoyt's going to hold on to it. And a bunch of Raiders in there to make the tackle. Trying to see who made initial contact. It's a little hard to see the jerseys from up here, the gold and the red, but a lot of Raiders flocking to the football right there. That's going to put them
On the stop of the Raiders is number 62.
Take a second down here.
And if you're the defense, I mean, this is a long time on the field. A lot of these guys can get winded, and they need a stop here.
And this is a good test for this defense. Really challenge you to finish the drive right here. And this is good for a team because a lot of times at this level, you're getting these 3 and outs. So to have to stay on the field a little bit longer, you're going to experience this a little bit more as they grow and get into 9th grade and beyond. So to have to finish a drive, kind of have a bend but don't break right here as the Lions are going to take a timeout with a 2nd 13. So the Raiders had him in a 3rd and 10 right there, but Hoyt really using his speed.
Huge run.
Rumbled forward and puts him in position. So the Raiders have got him now in a 2nd and 13, trying to persevere. I mean, this drive has pretty much taken the whole quarter. And so that, like you said, Jeff, that's not easy for a defense. It's going to be a good test for them, but they can still get off the field here. I think you call that a win.
And I know we're still in the 3rd quarter, but I'm curious at this point if you're not talking 4-down territory, being down the 2 scores, and knowing how you can burn the clock. Here they've burned a whole quarter. Might as well come out with a touchdown, right?
Yeah, that's the other thing. If you're the Lions, this is how you want to start the game. You want to have a long drive, take it all the way down and score. I mean, I think that's your best bet if you're going to try to upset the Raiders. But to do it when you're down 24-8, that's a little bit risky. The only way you're going to get back in it, assuming you punch it in, if you can here, is you're going to have some big plays. Second and 13. The Lions send a man in motion again. They will run it to the left. Great job by the Raiders with some pursuit right there. That tackle is made. Looks like Deshaun Stewart. I believe is a corner for the Raiders. So really a good job there.
Brought down by number 25.
Setting the edge on the outside.
And you had to think maybe they try and get Anaseki the ball again, and they do. And a big stop right there.
That's impressive. I mean, one of the old offensive coordinator run game adages is make the corner make a tackle. And that time, he did make the tackle. So when your corners are able to come make a tackle on a big guy in the running game, really seal that outside, that's good stuff for the Raiders.
Little Trayvon Diggs on Joe Mixon-esque right there.
Looks like they're a little off timing. And they're going to throw the flag before the quarter gets expired there. I do like how the Lions use motion. That really tests the defense, but the Raiders are really doing a good job. That'll take us to the end of the 3rd quarter. Jeff, how about we finish this drive here and maybe even try to get you on offense here before we get Mikey back in here. I mean, that flew by. So Raiders up 24-8 at the end of the 3rd quarter. The Lions just having a drive that took the entire quarter, and that can be a positive thing, keeping the ball out of the hands of the Raiders. But when you're down 24-8, you got to score quickly. So it's really essential for the Lions to get it in pretty quickly here if they're going to make this one interesting.
And if you're a Highland Park fan, maybe you want Mikey back because Highland Park hasn't scored since I came on. Put up 24 points while he was on. So, but yeah, no, I think if you're the Lions, you have to come away with a touchdown here.
There's really no choice, and then you're going to have to consider an onside kick or something like that here. So Good test for this Raiders defense. Got them in a 3rd and 19 right here. So an opportunity to bend but not break as the Lions are on the 20-yard line.
And if you're McKinney, maybe you don't need the whole thing right on this play. Maybe you're, like we said, looking at this as 4-down territory.
So Will Washington here with Jeff Kolb. We're going to have Jeff on a little longer, and then we'll get Mikey back on here. Nice tackle there from the Raiders. That's Cole Johnson, who plays defensive end for Highland Park. And I've been really impressed with him this season so far, Jeff. I watched him in the first game, and he just did a great job at defensive end. You know, you're playing that 4-eye, so you're on the inside shade of the tackle. So you're taking on double teams quite a bit. I mean, it's a lot to ask. He's a big guy. I think he does a great job at defensive end for the Raiders.
That was a huge stop. And now a field goal try.
It's a low snap, but the kick is up. It's a little bit short, so that's going to be no good. So after a long drive, Lions don't get any points out of it. So really, the Raiders, that's a tough drive, but you get off the field and you allow 0.
If you're the defensive coordinator for the Raiders, you just went over a quarter with your team out there on the field to not give up any points. That's a huge win.
That is a huge win, and that puts the Raiders offense back on the field. So, Jeff, why don't you call this one with us here so we can get you in on an offensive drive, and you can give us some of your thoughts on this Highland Park offense, and then we'll have Mikey come in and close the game out. We just got a star-studded lineup. We're trying to balance everybody. Had Jay Cox and Grayson Schrank earlier, and I love it. They're over here. They're still watching the game. They want to support this program, these 2 varsity guys on their bye week right here. And Jeff Kolb coming in here, doing a great job filling in for color. And then we're going to have Mikey Lamar jump back in. Might need like 4 or 5 mics next time here. Handoff goes to Biggers. Does a little dance coming the other way. He's got a lane on the outside. We got a flag on the play. The way Biggers does that stop is really pretty incredible. As there is a flag on the play, but Brooks Biggers still using it as an opportunity to show some of his agility.
Again, a guy to be excited about at the next level, but I hope we'll see if this one comes back.
Brought down by number 17, Lucas Sherman.
So we await the call here as the officials discuss if there's someone injured on the field, maybe.
Looks like they're checking on one of the Lions.
Offsides against the defense. Penalty declined. Personal foul.
Nice turnout here tonight, Will, for Tuesday night football. And I know our viewers can't see it, but quite the view up here in the press box.
Yeah, this is one of the best views in Dallas. I mean, when you look out, you've got the downtown skyline over here. And you're absolutely right, Jeff. I mean, a good turnout tonight. These fans excited about the future of Highland Park football. And I'll say this, I've gotten to come to the first 2 varsity home games, and it might be 2 of the biggest crowds I've ever seen. I mean, one of the games against Lake Highlands was the Matthew Stafford jersey retirement ceremony.
They brought in the extra bleachers.
So, yeah, they brought in the extra bleachers. There were certainly more than 10,000 people here just cramming in. It was hard to find a parking spot, and it was really cool, Jeff. I mean, you had the young kids lining up on the rails trying to watch Matthew Stafford. So Game On Sports just did a phenomenal job covering that. You can go and find that video. But there's been a really fun, there we go. We have a little view of the sideline there.
Yeah.
Or the skyline. So, but yeah, the crowd has just been really excited this season, and they've been packing it out. And I think you're going to really see that in a couple weeks when they play Jesuit at home. It's going to be packed. So Raiders take the penalty. They get across the 50-yard line. Del Store in the game at quarterback. Flings it over to the flat. Nice play there from the Lions. That's Cooper Visser reading that one.
That was a dangerous pass. That could have gone back the other way, and we might have had a totally different ball game.
Could have made it a little interesting.
We'll see if Store can take advantage of another break here.
Raiders with 2 really good quarterbacks, Buck Randall and Del Store. Store getting some snaps here in this 4th quarter. Store with the option. He keeps it. Takes it for himself. A nice run there. Get him close to that first down marker.
Dell Store on the carry for the Raiders.
Jeff, you think you may have heard me say this earlier, but Dell's older brother, Brennan, is the starting quarterback for the Highland Park varsity team. So Brennan got to join us here a couple weeks ago, had a great interview with him, and he was up here with me calling it when Dell threw a touchdown. So that was pretty fun, but kind of runs in the family. And he was saying he tries to help him out, give him some pointers, and really kind of pass it on to his younger brother here.
It'd be cool to see him follow up what his brother's doing right now someday.
Raiders call a counter run. That's a great job from Leon Thompson at running back. Really sold it on that bait step, came around the other way. So he heard the coaching points and got a positive run. And Jeff, I'm seeing in this Highland Park rushing attack, I was talking to Mikey about this earlier, they can hit you in a lot of different ways. They can run a lot of different types of plays. These linemen are showing their athleticism tonight. They're doing a great job moving and creating lanes. So it's a dangerous running attack for the Raiders.
And not against the D-line without size on the other end.
Yeah, that's a fact. I mean, you're dealing with some big guys here in the Lions. It's a reception to Harrison Brown from Dell Store. So Raiders getting a lot of receivers involved tonight. They get a little closer to the goal line here. And, you feel like they're in control of this one, but it's still a little close on the scoreboard if something crazy happens, so you would like to put it in the end zone here just to feel good about it.
This is where you want to have your dagger moment if you're the Raiders. You go up one more touchdown, that pretty much will salt this one away. If not, there's still some time for the Lions to make some noise.
So the Raiders call a timeout because, as Jeff mentioning, they want to put the dagger in right here. Like you said, it's felt like they're in control this whole time, but you do look at that scoreboard and you got that long drive. So if something crazy happens, it could give the Lions a little bit of hope. So if you're the Raiders, you want to go ahead and end it right here. Put it in the end zone. You got Dell Store in the game at quarterback. They can do a lot of different stuff. What do you want to see right here from the Raiders as they try to put it in here late?
I think they're doing a good job of matriculating the ball downfield, and if you can burn some more clock and get the points, then that's sort of a double win. What a difference from the first half. I mean, we saw, 32 points in that first half, and now we've got 1.5, 1 3/4 drives maybe in the books here through a quarter plus in this second half.
This is Raider football presented by Game On Sports. We're Washington here with Jeff Kolb from Fox 4 joining us here tonight. Jeff, they want to stay in touch with you. Is there social media that they can follow? Or what's the best way for them to keep in touch with you?
Get me on the Twitter at Jeff Kolb Fox 4 and on the Instagram at Jeff_Kolb. All follows appreciated.
So follow Jeff, and hopefully he's going to be joining us more in the future here on some of these broadcasts.
Certainly look forward to that.
Been fun having him here tonight as flag on the play. That one's going to come back here.
False start.
That's a false start on the Raiders. And really, Jeff, tonight they've minimized these kind of things. I mean, this offensive line's just done a phenomenal job. They've really, like you said, they're playing some big guys up there. They're moving really well. They've been really disciplined tonight. Store rolls out right. He's got 3 receivers on the right. Sets his feet. Launches it over the middle. Great pass there from Dell Store. And that is caught by Huck Corwin, who's just having a great game.
Huck Corwin.
That was a smart play. He had a guy in the end zone coming open, but there were two defenders back there. Pick up some yardage, keep the drive going.
You've seen that from both Buck Randall and Dell Store. They'll roll out, and they coach you that on certain steps you're supposed to throw it to certain receivers, and he didn't force it. He was patient, took the open guy. This time he rolls left, flings it into the end zone. Touchdown, Raiders. A great pass there from Dell Store, and that is to Huck Corwin for his second touchdown of the night. So
right on cue.
Right on cue, right there. You wanted the dagger moment. You got it right there. So Dell Store rolling out right, making a great play, then rolling left finding Huck Horn in the end zone. That's great stuff from him.
Yeah, we talked about Buck Randall and what he can do, and he was obviously impressive off the top of this game. But now you're seeing Del Storer, and that was a great drive, especially after the defense comes up huge, stopping that more than a quarter-long drive.
Extra point.
And like we said, dagger moment right there for the Raiders.
That's what you want to see. So Will Washington here with Jeff Kolb. I believe that Mikey is going to be making his way back down here to finish the game with us. Jeff, thanks so much for being with us tonight. It was a lot of fun having you. And we hope to have you again in the future during this Raiders season.
Absolutely. Can't wait for it.
Well, Mikey, come back in here right now. He's
the headset handoff.
The headset handoff. We've done this a few times tonight because we've had a great lineup of people. So Jeff Kolb with Fox 4. He told you can follow him on Twitter and Instagram, and hopefully he's going to be joining us more in the future. We've had Jay Cox, Highland Park running back. We've had Grayson Schrank, Highland Park receiver. These guys are still up here watching the game, supporting the next generation. And Grayson talked about this, Mikey, but they kind of have a culture. When he was younger, these older receivers would really invest in him, teach him, and now he's doing that with these younger guys. So there's really a culture in this program of passing it on to the next group.
Yeah, I remember some of the receivers in my grade telling me about that and just talking about how much they loved getting to hang out with the 8th graders and coach them up a little bit and just teach them some tricks and stuff about what it means to play receiver at HP. So I think that's one of the things that makes this program special is just the lineage and the continuation from generation to generation of the tradition here.
Mikey, Jeff and I were talking. That was really a dagger moment for the Raiders because Raiders were up 24-8. It felt like they were in control of it the whole game, but it was close enough to where if the Lions had a crazy play, you're thinking, well, maybe they have some hope. So you want to take care of business, put it in there. You see Del Storer, younger brother of Scott's starting quarterback, Brennan Storer, roll out right, make a patient throw down the middle there, then roll out left, find Huck Corwin for his second touchdown of the night. That's exactly what you want to see from the Raiders.
Yeah, it's been great to see both these quarterbacks getting out of the pocket and making great throws. Wonderful drive orchestrated there by Dell, just composed. And at this time of the game, that's exactly what you needed. Take some time off the clock and then get a score at the end of it.
Raiders will make a quick tackle there. Lions have got some playmakers and some size, but overall, Raiders doing a really good job. And just talking about how the key to this defense running is really the defensive line. I mean, they've got to fill their gaps. They've been doing a good job of it. They've rotated some guys in here. And really, when they're at their best, they're making tackles on the edge, Mikey. And you started seeing that a little bit from some of these other guys. They started to get DBs involved, making plays in the running game. And you were a former DB standout at Highland Park. And so you know how demanding that can be. You're making plays in the passing game, but you also sometimes got to come and commit to the run game, especially when that quarterback's running it.
Yep. Especially as a safety, you got to have kind of one eye in the backfield. And then you got to fly to the ball when you see the run. But they're doing a great job tonight, both these safeties, helping him run support. You love to see it.
Send him in motion. Lions will hand it off, but Raiders are there instantly. That's the penetration that you want to see. Doing a really good job. It's like Charlie Davenport just busting through the line right there. If I'm getting my numbers right. That really puts him behind the chains and a long third down. Mikey, we've got older brother of Buck Randall, quarterback for the Raiders, Knox Randall, hanging out with us right here, watching his brother play. So he's a linebacker for the Scotch JV team. So it just runs in the family for the Randalls.
Yeah, it really does. Knox was telling me about outside linebacker in this 3-4 system. It's a really pivotal position. You got a pass coverage and run support, blitzing off the edge too. So Knox does a great job of it with the JV Gold team. It's good to see him here watching his brother play too.
Quarterback keeper. And the Raiders do not fall for it. Have a huge loss on the play. A great play from the Raiders and a little celebration there. That's looking like number 85. That's Cole Johnson again, Mikey. I was talking about him earlier as I was looking back at some of their games. I remember it from here. I'm so impressed with him. He's playing defensive end for the Raiders, and was telling Jeff, that's such a crucial position because just the way that they're playing, the alignment, where they are, you're having to take double teams quite a bit if you're going to play defensive end.
Yep.
This other team, make no mistake about it, they've got some size on the line. And so Cole Johnson really consistently so far for the Raiders this season, he's getting behind the line of scrimmage. And if you're doing that as a defensive end, you're going to have a really good defense.
Yep. And when you're able to set the edge like that in a three-man front with your ends, I mean, that just takes freaky athleticism we see from Johnson right there and incredible play. It's his luxury to have as a defensive coordinator, have players like that.
And as a guy that played defensive end as a freshman, Mikey, which was maybe a positional mistake on my part, given I was like 125 pounds as a freshman, I know how difficult it is. It's a challenging position. It's really important in that defense. And the Raiders have a good stock of them right here that they can get excited to send them to high school next year. This is going to be 4th and 27. And that one bounces. He's going to be in the end zone. We'll see if they get a safety right here.
They've got the hands up.
They're waiting for the call. I don't know if they're going to give it to him. They might say he had progress just north of the goal line.
Yep.
And they are. But either way, what a play from the Raiders special teams. You've been seeing this really the whole season. We talk about the offensive talent. We talk about the way the defense has been playing. But to me, Mikey, the thing that stood out the most these first few games has been the Raiders special teams, really in all facets of special teams, has just been dominant.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and special teams, you know, there's 3 sides of the ball in football, and people usually forget about special teams. But the Raiders show how important that can be and just how it can turn the tide of games. And also credit to their coaches, because special teams is really the easiest phase of the game to overlook. And they have the attention to detail to really hone in on those and coach up their players on the special teams, and it shows.
Well, that's where you're seeing the culture of the program, because when you get to the varsity level, one of the things that you're seeing is that Coach Allen really harps on special teams, and especially when they get into the playoffs, they try to do a lot of things on special teams to give them advantages. So when you're seeing this in 8th grade, you can see this is what happens when you just have a culture that runs all the way through the program. This is going to give the Raiders the ball at the 1-yard line as they line up in a 2-back set here with Del Store at quarterback again. He hands it off right there, and he will fall forward. That is Beckett Curtis falling forward, getting the touchdown. That's what you call an efficient drive right there, Mikey. 1 play, 1 touchdown. Beckett Curtis getting in the end zone.
Yeah, you love to see it. The linebacker getting some carries at running back, getting the payoff with the touchdown.
They've got some versatility too. Curtis, very talented outside linebacker. I mean, I'd say he's one of the key players of that defense, and that's such a crucial role. We haven't gotten to talk about them as much tonight. We've been focusing on some other positions, but they have to be able to play the run and the pass. He can do that effectively. But he's been getting some snaps at running back tonight, and he's a physical runner.
Yeah, you can tell he's a linebacker in the way he runs, just very north-south downhill, which is a great compliment to Biggers too, and the more shifty kind of side-to-side movement more so than Curtis. So nice little running back tandem there. Love to see Beckett get in that touchdown.
We've talked about Beckett's family line as we did this broadcast a couple weeks ago. He's got an older brother that's a JV receiver that you know pretty well, and he's having a great season.
Yeah, Anderson's been playing great. Knox was telling me about that. Catching touchdowns and just, having a great season so far for the JV Gold team.
And his older brother, Jack Curtis, playing defensive end for the Scots last year, doing a really good job for them. As the Raiders now up 40-8 with 2:39 left in this 4th quarter. So, Mikey, as we get down to the end of this, we're not going to ask you just yet, but we're going to ask you for some players of the game. There's a lot of guys we can choose from, both on offense and defense. We've got Huck Corwin with 2 receiving touchdowns, Cole Flashnick with 2 receiving touchdowns, Curtis getting in there on the ground. Both Buck Randall and Del Store doing a really good job spreading the ball out, really showing what they can do when they roll out right and left. And then a lot of guys on defense making plays. So we'll let you kind of think about some of your players of the game here as the Raiders are going to put their defense out here with 2:36 left in this one. And really, you start 2 weeks in a row, you go down early. They went down 6-0 last week, turning the ball over. The Lions, which I guess they're all Lions. Every team they play must be the Lions.
Yeah, it's common name.
Literally 3 in a row. They're all the Lions.
Yeah.
But they scored early, and Raiders bounced right back. Randall, after an opening pick, he was 11 for 11. I mean, I don't know if my math's right here. I think that's 100%, Mikey.
Yeah, I think so.
Throwing 3 touchdowns. And then tonight, Raiders go down again, 8-0, and they've scored 40 unanswered. So they've been really successful past 2 weeks, getting hit in the mouth a little bit early, haven't panicked at all, and have really just dominated the rest of the way.
Yeah, you love to see it because that first drive for the Lions was a one-play touchdown drive. And since then, it's just been lights out from this Raider D. And, I guess they like to get punched in the mouth before they wake up and start playing, but getting the job done and then some these past few weeks.
I'm sure Coach Watkins will say, hey, let's maybe not do that at the beginning. No need to stress me out, but these guys have showed some resilience, and they've won comfortably these first 3 weeks. There's a pitch for the Lions. He's going to get him a first down. And the Lions have shown some really good things today, Mikey. They've got some talented guys when they get them in space. And they've had some good drives, but just haven't been able to finish them. And that's really the sign of a good defense, is even if you allow some plays, in the end, you can lock it down and do a really good job. As we're getting close to the 1 minute mark, deep into this game, Raiders up 40-8. So, Mike, I'm going to ask you, give me one player that's really stood out to you today. Who would you say is a potential player of the game for you here?
I'm going to go with, on the offensive side of the ball, I'm going to go with Huck Corwin. Catching 2 TDs from 2 different quarterbacks, blocking well in the run game, being unselfish in that aspect, and just, I love the way he plays, kind of a smaller slot receiver, Wes Welker type, if you will. I just think he had a great game today, just crisp routes, broken plays, just getting open for his quarterback on that first touchdown from Buck, and just overall great game from Huck.
Huck Corwin, really a talented inside receiver for the Raiders. These quarterbacks do a great job leaning on them. Cole Flashnick, another inside receiver, getting 2 touchdowns tonight. And I was telling Jeff, those are some football names right there. Huck Corwin, Cole Flashnick, Brooks Biggers, Buck Randall. They're just kind of named for it out here.
They really are. It sounds like characters from Friday Night Lights or something. I'd love to hear it.
Great show, great reference.
Great movie, too.
It really is.
Great book.
Yeah, that'll take us to the end of it. These Tuesday night lights will conclude with the Highland Park Raiders getting a win 40-8. Mike, I was going to say on the defensive side, there's a few guys that stood out to me. There's a lot that I liked, but I got to go back to Cole Johnson playing really good defensive end. He just brings an energy out there. He's one of those guys that plays through the whistle.
Yeah.
You may not always give credit to the defensive line, but to me, I thought that he just did a great job. He's a big guy.
Yeah.
I really enjoy watching him play. So that's going to take us to the end. That gives the Raiders the win tonight, 40-8. Mike, we got a lot of people to thank here. We got to thank Jay Cox, Grayson Schrank, 2 offensive starters for Highland Park, coming in here in the second quarter, talking about their season. Those are great guys. We wish them the best. Got to thank Jeff Kolb from Fox 4 coming in here, hanging out with us. Yeah, we got the local news coming in here. Got to give him a shout out. And then we've got Cookie Hawkins, the best sound guy in America, setting us up right here. And then Trevor Van Dam, making this look like a Monday Night Football broadcast with these amazing graphics, credible editing. They've just done an incredible job here. It's been a lot of fun, Mikey.
Yeah, I mean, it's a team effort. We get to go on the mic, but it wouldn't happen if it weren't for the guys, carrying us behind the scenes. So big shout out to all of them.
We love the Game On Sports crew here. Fred Garner doing a great job as always, bringing you Raider football presented by Game On Sports. You can catch all these games on the stream. Mikey and I will be back, I believe, for the next home game, which is in a few weeks, having another one of these special broadcasts. We're going to bring varsity players on, ask them some questions. So we'll be looking forward to that. This has been a Game On Sports production of the Highland Park 8th grade Gold team. They get the win tonight, 40-8. They move to 3-0 on the season. We will see you next week for some more Raider football presented by Game On Sports. For Mikey Lamar and Will Washington, good night and God bless.